Hi, welcome to this channel on magnetic energy, technology, principles, applications. This video is about magnetic energy and UFO sightings and how they are about to really go through the roof. And magnetic energy and UFOs are closely connected. They're hand in hand with each other. And so when you think about the technology involved in UFOs, just the anti-gravitic technology or gravity regulation, as we might call it, the idea of like pulsing neutral magnetic energy and getting that is incorporated into UFOs. And really what a lot of these vehicles do is they have the ability to tune in specifically to the pulse rate, like for example of our planet, of planet Earth, and exactly what that gravitational pulse rate is. And they surround their ship with that field, which then allows them to traverse without any limitations in our atmosphere and even around our planet. No gravitational limitations. Now, right along with that, the force field problem. So they have force field, they have counter pulsating, modulating fields that allow them to travel without friction through any medium, through the atmosphere, through the water. Those are magnetic energy fields, and that etheric magnetic energy is flowing through them, through those ships constantly. The materials involved, we talk about that on the website, the specific materials involved that convert neutral etheric magnetic energy into an infinite variety of polarities that they can then use on those ships. And of course, many of them are way beyond what we talk about on the websites as far as technology goes, and they're very advanced in crystal age technology and the blending of crystals and metals and making that etheric magnetic energy connection. Onboard gravity, they would be matching the magnetic resonance signatures from their home planet and the pulse rate of their gravitational field, so they have the exact gravitational fields on board that they have. They're copying it from their own home planets. Now this video, this is really out there, okay? So I'm going to talk about some stuff that's really out there, and a lot of it is like science fiction at this point. But as these sightings become more commonplace and as they become more popular and I'll get into why that's going to happen, this could be quite shocking to a large number of people, okay? And so this idea that it becomes definitive proof, and a lot of people, they'll hear reports and they'll hear other people saying it, but it's a completely different experience when you experience it yourself. And it solidifies that belief, it solidifies that whole idea that we're not alone and that there are other beings that are traversing to our world. And that can be quite shocking, and it's important that people they'll get through that and they'll learn to adapt to it. And this isn't some kind of Independence Day experience. These are our friends, okay? They are here to support us, to help us and help us through this incredible transition that we're going through. Which brings me to this idea of traveling beyond light speed. It is very commonplace in our region of the galaxy, along and much further beyond that. The magnetic resonance signature and pulse rate of our heliosphere, or you could just say the energy fields around our solar system, which our sun contributes greatly to those polarities. Those energy fields are very well documented and very well known throughout this region of the galaxy and far beyond that. Our planet right now is under a microscope. Okay, it is so closely monitored and watched by beings all over the place, and to the point even with probe technology, they have probes here that are carefully linked up to them, and they have real-time quantum level communication with those probes this is instantaneous communication. These are magnetic connections that are interdimensional, and now we get into the interdimensional aspect of it. With the proper magnetic fields, these ships are completely invisible on the EMF spectrum. So if you do not have the proper magnetic technology, you cannot see them. You cannot even tell that they're there. And there are thousands thousands of them all around our planet at all times, partly interdimensional, partly within our space, partly shielded, and there's a whole level of different shielding that they go through in the planet, inside the planet, around the planet, and throughout our solar system. And we are so closely monitored. And why are we being so closely monitored right now? One of the reasons is radioactive material. These beings they know exactly where every single type of like bomb or missile or facility or submarine or ship that has a reactor on it, anything that contains radioactive material, they have it closely monitored, closely documented at all times, exactly where it is, how much material is in that particular system, whether it's a warhead or a nuclear submarine or a nuclear power plant, what the condition of that material is, and what would be necessary to contain it. So you hear these stories, and I know personally of the same exact stories, and they are very, very true. And it's this idea that UFOs hover over missiles at missile silos, and they monitor those closely. The missiles will become activated, then deactivated, then activated, then deactivated. So they're very closely monitoring the technology that's in those missiles and what the capability of those missiles are. And this is a very big deal around the galaxy right now. Some of the other things that they monitor are the gravitational fields and magnetic fields around our planet, from the inside all the way out past the magnetosphere, all the fluctuations that are taking place. And with this pole shift is now imminent, and the relationship between our planet and even the moon, so that lunar gravitational magnetic link and how critical that is, there's so much that goes into that from a magnetic energy perspective, and that is so closely monitored, that connection. Then our connection with the sun and the gravitational magnetic energy connection and the exchange of energy with the sun, and exactly what's going on with the sun, interior, exterior, the cycles of the sun, whether we're getting, how close we're getting into termination shock and everything. So there's a lot of monitoring of our sun and regulating and shielding, and around our solar system, a lot of shielding of the energy, the pollution that comes off of our planet and off of our solar system, thanks to the incredibly reckless and idiotic acts that scientists and engineers and governments and militaries have done over the last several decades. Super reckless behavior with nuclear, with radioactive material, and the testing and all these different things that has required and other beings to really, we are under such a microscope right now. Everything is so closely monitored. Even the level of pollution in the oceans, the salinity of the oceans, the oxygen level in the oceans, the ratios of magnetic resonance signatures in the oceans, and the viscosity of that water, because all of that influences how magnetic energy is exchanged throughout our system, all the way up through our ionosphere. What's happening with magnetic resonance signatures throughout the ionosphere and the ozone layer, the pollution, how chemtrails play a part in that process, and what they're doing to the magnetic fields and the magnetic flow rates of energy through the ionosphere to the planet and back. There's such a close connection to the ionosphere and the interior of our planet, and the pollution and the different things that are being spread through the atmosphere really have impacts on that. So all of that's totally tightly monitored as well. And the list just goes on and on. It's a very big deal of what's happening around our planet and all the different changes that are about to take place. Now, as people start to go through even the slightest changes in vibrational shifts, in terms of like moving toward enlightenment and the increase, there's going to be high level vibration energy coming into our planet. And millions of people are going to start having, just even at the slightest level, an increase in awareness, an increase in psychic awareness, and their consciousness becoming more expansive. And as that happens, they will tune into where these ships are located. They will tune into this presence of other higher intelligence and higher beings and other vehicles that are around us at all times. And there are portals that have been established around our planet that are interdimensional. And what these are large portals, like they're miles in diameter, and what they do is they allow ships from other planets and beings from other worlds to get to our planet very easily and efficiently directly to our planet. So they don't even have to mess around with anything. They literally have the portal pulse rates, magnetic energy pulse rates of those portals. They tune into those with the ships, and they literally arrive here in seconds from other worlds. So this is an interdimensional process, and these portals serve as gateways to, you could almost call them like interdimensional parking lots, where there are literally hundreds and even thousands of ships that stay stationary there and then move out of there to do what they're doing around our planet and monitoring the planet and the solar system and the sun and what's going on, and doing things like directing CMEs and directing like coronal mass ejections and the behavior of the sun, and making sure that the timing of everything is executed exactly how it's supposed to be. So there are some very big changes and transitions coming. Millions of people are going to start tuning into that presence, and that's a really important part of the step of this whole transition, this transition into enlightenment, and this transition into higher level of consciousness and expanded awareness. This realization, the solidification mentally and physically and emotionally and even spiritually, that we are not alone, and not only that, but we are highly interconnected with beings from other worlds. And this is a huge process, and they are very engaged in that process, which is why they start revealing more and more of the probes, the ships, their presence, because it does something to the human mindset. It does something to our level of awareness, to our level of consciousness, to know that that's real, to know that and engage in that process. And the people that tune in to the higher level of vibration coming into the planet first, they will have those experiences more. They will know where to go, when to look up, what to expect and what to experience, and they'll have that relationship start to build where they get repeated sightings and repeated experiences with this, and that starts to build this whole connection with those beings, and this idea of more communication and greater awareness, and solidifying our whole idea of our part of a galactic neighborhood, and our responsibility to this planet and to those other beings and to those other worlds, and our responsibility to start embracing higher level technology that is clean technology, that is magnetically based technology, that is crystal based technology, that is better for the world. And this idea of ridding pollution and starting to neutralize the radioactive material around this world, and to really do our part in working with them to clean up the mess, the incredible mess that's been made on this planet with all kinds of just nasty radioactive processes of material. So let me see, I actually had notes for this because there's a lot of detail to deliver on this, and I think that pretty much covers it. If you have questions or you have more questions about this, please just submit the questions. If you like this video, obviously hit like, subscribe to the channel, and I really want to keep you as updated and as informed as I can on this topic and as I am allowed to do. And I really appreciate you tuning into this, and I will see you next time.